Hello and welcome to a special edition of Rallying the Forge. And in this episode, I'm going to be talking about how the Monthly Convergence League works. We're going to go through and pick out 4 decks that I haven't used, none of the same half decks that I've already used. We're going to talk about all the requirements and give you all the information. This might be a long video. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I want it to be somewhat in-depth so players can watch this and really see the entire process of making the decks and making sure they're legal and going through things that they might encounter so they understand what things mean and how they can fix it and or correct it, I guess. But so we'll jump to this. This is the event description, and I'll just read it to you. This is for November, but it's the same for each of the months. So we had October, we have November, and then January should be the next one. I think that's the last one, and then the prize event will be at the end of February. And in December, they're doing the winter solstice event. So that's an interesting thing. We will talk about that in a different video when I make that video. But right now, we're talking about the Convergence League. As hopefully this continues on after February. We'll see if it does or not. But it's been very fun, I think. I think it's a nice, different pace of an event, so to speak. It's a little different, and it's been fun. I'm not big on making and using all these sorts of different decks, but I'm basically getting to use decks I would want to play, so it's not so bad. It's not like I have to use bad decks, so I'm thankful for that. How these events work: each week you'll be matched up with a new opponent, and it's up to the two of you to schedule time for your matches throughout that week. And each event is 4 weeks long, so there's 4 rounds. If you go 3-1 or 4-0 in any of the months, you will be invited to an invitational at the end of February with prizing valued over $10,000. You do not need to play each month. As soon as you go 3-1 or 4-0, you will be qualified. You may switch decks between each month and before the invitational, which suggests the invitational will be the same format, but I don't know if it's going to be 4 weeks or if they're going to do it all at once in a different way. I don't know yet. We'll find out those details when that comes up. Each player brings a total of 4 decks with them to the event, and we'll add it to a spreadsheet that is shared in the event. And he's got a link below. We'll show for this month. Each month he'll have a different link. The rules for the 4 decks you bring: it must cover all 4 factions, cover all 4 sets. Legendary drops count as their corresponding set. So if you have, right now it's just dinos, but soon it'll be scientists. They can appear in any one of the 4 primary sets, and you'll have to look at the other cards to figure out exactly which set it technically belongs in. Each faction can only show up twice between the 4 fused decks. You have to use each faction twice. Creatures, modifiers, and he doesn't say it here, but it should include it, spells of rare or higher cannot show up in multiple fuses. So as an example, he's got Shambling Apparition and Shambling Demon cannot be in 2 separate fuses since Shambling is a rare modifier. However, he doesn't say it here, they can appear in the same deck. He's also got Combat Shambler and Arrogant Shambler cannot be in 2 separate fuses because Shambler is a rare base creature. But they can be in the same. They cannot be in the same deck technically, unless you had a Betrayer Shambler. Then you could. It says of the 4 fused decks, only one of them may have a Krogaius in it, as an example. He's got a link to a post on Intro to Rarity, and then this is how the format works. It's best of 3. Before you play, each player will ban one of the 4 decks of their opponents, so that person cannot play that deck. That's been fun, banning decks of opponents, trying to figure out which deck is the right one to ban. And then after that, you play your first round. Whoever wins a match, when they win that match, they can no longer use that deck in the remaining battles. And then in the second battle, in the second round, if the player who won the first round wins, the match is over. They won 2 out of 3. If the other player wins, then that player cannot use that deck. And then for the third round, the tiebreaker, they both would technically have 2 decks to choose from. So even if you lose with a deck, if you don't win with it, you can still use it. So you can use the same deck over as long as you don't win with it. So he's got a link for submitting decks for this month. He's got a presentation, a Canva link for how the format works. So that's the event in a nutshell. Obviously, playing in it will help you understand that portion of it a little bit better. It's pretty straightforward, even if you've never done an event before. It's not too bad. What we want to look at next is, and I've got this rarity icons sheet that I created, and I highlighted all the rare icons. I've got the set number, the set name, and you can see based on the icons if something is rare or considered common. So all the cards highlighted, all the rows highlighted are considered rare or higher. And I'll have to update the sheet to add another column for the scientist drop when it comes. I do need to get some better logo or images of these icons for the legendary drop. The set 4 icons are just hard because they get that spider web over them, but I got those from the website, so they're okay. But you can see here, so what you can do is you can look at a card if you're unsure, if you're not familiar with that. You can always come here and just look at this sheet, this picture, which is posted on the Discord somewhere. But I can post it up if needed again. But basically, yellow is rare. So if it has any yellow, whether it's the inner symbol or the outer lining, then it is rare. You also have red, which is legendary, dark forged legendary, or if it's got the red outline, it's soulbind. So that's what you need to look for. If it's blue with an outer lining, then it is the base creature is common, but the modifier is if it's yellow, it's rare. If it's blue, like here on the Forged Common, then they're both common. If it doesn't have an outer lining, like you can see at the top 2 here, the blue means it's just a common, and if it's yellow, it's just rare. So if you have questions, you can always ask in the Discord, but you can match up these icons in-game on the website, or if you have physical cards, with the physical cards. So this should be every icon. I don't think I missed any, but you can reference the sheet to see which ones are rare or not. The script that I have will tell you if you have something that's rare or higher that they're not allowed to have. So this is the what I call the deck validation tool for this, and you will need to make a copy of it. So I'm gonna make a copy just to show you. You can see it pops up. Make a copy. And that way you have your own copy that you can edit, because you can't edit this one, only I can edit it. So I'll close that one out. This is the copy. And then we'll have to do some permissions once we do some stuff here. For this, you will need to use the collection manager, which is also, you can find the link on the Discord. I'll have a link in the video description as well, where you can go to the latest version. At least, yeah, the latest version. I'll give you that link. Excuse me. What you'll want to do, I gotta scroll down here to copy all my decks. Copy your decks, all the rows. Go to your deck validation tool. There's a tab called Collection Manager. I didn't put the script in just to pull your collection in. I could have probably copied that over, but I didn't want to fuss with it. So, just me being lazy. Paste it in, and you can begin the process. So, if you don't have... So, how I like to go about this, and again, everyone's process can be different. You could start... excuse me. Oh, man, gotta cut that out. 11 minutes. So everyone's process is different. You could start with just picking a deck, finding a deck you want to build from, and then build fresh from that. That's fine. I have plenty of decks made. So I'm not going to... Like, I've got on my account 95, 94, 93 decks, I guess. 93 decks I can choose from, which is a lot. I like to keep it a lot lower than that, but I haven't gotten rid of a lot of decks lately. But I've got my 8 fuses I used, the 4 I used last month and the 4 I used this month. They are all different half decks, so it's 16 half decks I cannot use. I'll have to reference them to make sure I'm not reusing. I'm pretty sure all of my top decks up here, I cannot play them. Either they're gold or I've already used one of their half decks. Or I already used the entire deck, potentially. Except for this one. I think I could use this one. However, I'm not so sure that it's as good as it was when I was doing my testing, which was a lot before set 4 came out. It does. I feel like it does well against decks that are highly competitive, but it doesn't do well against just the kind of random deck that you might come across. But I haven't tested in a while, and if it's taken out of the system, I haven't played it and done much with it, as I try to test other decks that come along. So, who knows? I don't know if I'm going to use that deck at all, because it's got a Necrium half with it, and I may want to use Necrium in some other fashion. So I need to pick a deck to start with. I've got a lot of choices. I got a lot of decks that are intriguing. That's an intriguing one. That one, I think... Let's see what this deck has here. Yeah, so this one has... It's not so bad. Cycle 3 instead of Cycle 2, Dark Forge Drain. This is the Eric's deck. Yeah, I don't know if I like this one or not. I don't know if it's consistent enough. It's got a lot of spells. I do like that, but I don't know that it's... I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I choose it or not. I don't think it's the one I'm going to start with. I've got some other fun ones that I really like. Specifically these 3 here. I don't know which one I want to start with. So let me open all 3 of them up and see what... Oh, I can't use the one, I don't think. Swarm of Tetrarain and Siege. I think I used that. Maybe I didn't. Okay, I did not use it. Nice. Okay, I could potentially use that one. So, This deck right here was a sealed event that I got, and I won the event, but this was crazy. So yeah, this gave me an idea, and then I made another version of it with the same Necrium half, but a different Utera half with one that I already had. I feel like this Utera half was one of my first Utera halves that I had gotten, or I got it very early on in my collection. But so I don't remember which one I felt played better. I feel like the second one maybe, but it could have been the original one too. And then this other one's a little different. It's a Necrium Aloyan build with a Apocamancer, Stitcher. It's got a Shambler, a Necromancer, a Rallying Creature, lots of minion generation. It's got a lot of stuff going on. It's a lot of fun, but I don't know if it's consistent enough as well. And all three of these, I can obviously use two of the three, but then I burn up both of my Necrium builds. Oh man, and they're all set 1. So I don't know. Then I had this month I've got this Rallying Captain deck that I'm using with Warriors, and it did not fare. It lost twice for me this month already. I was disappointed. The second match was close, just didn't have enough to get it over the hump or whatever. The third match I got destroyed. So I don't know. Maybe this deck just isn't good enough. I thought the Verlana with all these Warriors would be really good with it, but I don't know. Just not working out. At least it didn't work out in that. We'll see how it goes through the month, though. Interesting. I wonder if I can't use these two decks. I can't do it. Damn. Okay, so we're going to start with this deck. Oops. We're going to add it to our list. And all you have to do is paste it in the first line there on the SolForge Fusion League Decks tab in the second spot there. And then you would go to the SolForge Fusion menu and hit that script. And it's going to ask for permissions if you've never done it. So we're going to do that. You can't see everything I'm clicking, but it's just like for the collection manager. So no big deal there. Okay, so now it's running. It didn't pop up the message that it's still running, but it's it'll take a minute. And so it immediately pulls in for all 4 decks information, but then there's a 5th spot down here that's not filled in yet that'll give you more information for what else you need, and that's not populated. That populates near the end. And then we'll go through everything that this sheet does for you and how you can utilize it to your advantage. And I'll show you what my process will be a little different than what I'm telling you to do, because I customize my collection manager sheet, and it is my preferred method. I made this initially hoping that it could be put into the collection manager so you could just run it from there as one, but there were no updates coming to the collection manager, and so it hasn't been added. I don't know if it will be added or not, as there's already a lot of stuff in the collection manager. It's getting quite bulky. So this finished, and it told me I need more Loyan, Tempest, Necrium, and Terra half decks. Obviously, need at least a set 2, 3, and 4 half deck, and I need exactly 4 fused decks links. So now that we have a deck in here, all these other sheets have done some stuff. So the collection manager sheet doesn't change. You pasted this in. It's got that info. Now what it does is there's a valid decks tab, and it's going to put in here only decks that you can still use. So you can see I've still got quite a few, as I've only got one deck in there. And then we have an invalid decks list, which will list every invalid deck that we cannot use. So if you're looking for a deck and you thought it would be legal, you can look it up in here and see why it's not legal. So I already have it remove expired decks, and then obviously anything that has a rare plus card or modifier, it tells you that you cannot use it again per the rules. So you can see all these decks, and mine right now are going to be largely just expired decks, but you can see the modifiers and cards as I scroll through real quick. So you can see that they're there and can't use them. And then we also have, and I used this as a troubleshooting tool initially, and then I kept it in there so people can use it to maybe learn some things if they don't know. So on this sheet, you can see it gives you the deck number, it tells you which half of that deck, gives you the card name, the set for the cards. It gives you the base rarity of the card, which is going to be the unforged creature for in the Pocketmancer's case, and the base forged creature in the case of this card, which is an operator. It's going to give you a modifier if it has one, and the rarity of that modifier. I used this to troubleshoot, and decided to leave it in. That way I could tell. I wanted to make sure it was breaking everything down properly, and I still find errors from time to time. So when I find errors, I try to go back and fix them, obviously, but it'll help. This helps me, but also can help people learn what cards are, what a base forged creature is, what an unforged creature is, what modifiers are. So in this case, a Pocketmancer unforged creature, it is only going to have a base rarity of rare. It's a rare card. It has no modifiers. The bolstering operator is the base forged creature. It is rare. Its modifier is bolstering, which is also rare. So you cannot have an operator, and you cannot have bolstering in any other decks. You can have it in these two halves of this one deck, but not a different deck. Is this right? Is this deck that rare? All these are rares? I didn't realize that. Only one common in that deck? Let me pull it up. Sorry. I gotta see that. Wow. All the other cards are rare in that deck except for the Venerable Sentry. That is crazy. So the Venerable Sentry, for example, the Sentry is the base forged creature. It is common, and the Venerable is common. So in a different fuse, you could have Venerable creatures and or Sentries, because they're common. You can have unlimited of them. Then you can see for the second half, which is the Necrium half, the information. So this breaks it down for you so you can see and understand it. But it's just useful. It's useful to me for the troubleshooting portion. It might be useful to players to understand why they might not be able to use something. So if they didn't know a Shambler was rare, they can see here that it is. It also, there are some, I don't know, I don't have a list of all of them, but I know like Shardback, for example, in set 2 is common, and set 3, it's rare. So you can have multiple set 2s, but only one set 3 not Shambler, sorry, Shardback. So something to consider. I feel like I tested that when I was doing this to make sure that worked right, but I don't know. And to go back here, This will tell you the issues and reasons why a deck is illegal. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill this up with these other 2 decks. Oops, keep clicking the wrong sheet. And you'll see you'll see the different errors that can pop up. It might not have all of them. It should have a bunch, though. And this it'll give me a chance to explain to players about some of these. So it hasn't updated yet for this block down here to update. So we'll wait for it to do that. And as I said, I've got a large collection, so it takes a little bit longer perhaps. It's unfortunate I can't use 2 of these decks because the Stitcher and Shambler are in the first fuse. And I'm debating if I want to use that first fuse or not. While it runs, I want to look it over. I think it's a lot of fun, this fuse. I just don't know how good it actually is. I think I used the steel Rosetta with it. And then, obviously, you have a Pokemancer. You're trying to do some replacement shenanigans. You got Rallying to pump all your stuff. You've got Stitcher to bring things back. So if you kill off my Pokemancer, I can bring it back or bring back Rallying. You've got a Shambler. Necromancer's nice to help upgrade stuff. It's a lot of fun, and with the good draws, it's a really good deck. But you got to get those draws right. This is nice with all the minion generation and whatnot. Omnom's a good spell, and it gives you a minion out of it if you kill their stuff. Infernal Ritual puts more minions on the board again. Group Meal can let you, if you have a bunch of zombies out there, upgrade a bunch of stuff, and eventually you can play a card for free. Ghastly Renewal, minions, plus reanimating 2 creatures, potentially if you have a Scientist, which we have the Stitcher. So it's a lot of fun. I don't know how great it is, how strong it is, but I'm pretty sure it wouldn't get banned by people. These other decks are based with Mantis and the Nyx, where I'm constantly playing zombie brutes. You can see play a zombie brute and then play 2 zombie brutes. So early on, I'm getting a bunch of zombie brutes out there. If I play the Mantis, and as I said, one of these decks, this one I got in a sealed event and dominated with it, and then I made this one trying to improve the Utera half, but I still think the original might still work better, maybe. I don't remember for sure. Let's see if it finished. It should have. It did. So now it tells us I need another Loin half deck. I need 2 more Tempest half decks. I have too many Necrium half decks. I need at least 1 set 2, 3, and 4, because they're all set 1, all 6 of them. I still need 4 fused deck links, which I don't have. Then you have up here for these 2 decks, they say illegal. So this one, it has Stitcher and Shambler, which are also in deck 1. So it goes from deck 1, 2, 3, then 4, and it's not going to go down and say, well, it's assuming that your highest priority decks are in order. So you want deck 1, which should always be legal. Deck 2 is going to be based compared to deck 1. Deck 3 is going to be compared to decks 1 and 2, and deck 4 will be compared to the other 3. So you can see in deck 3, we have the same duplicate half deck, and it gives you the deck ID. And it tells you reuse the rare plus cards, which So it's got Stitcher and Shambler, like in deck 1. It doesn't. It should have said deck 2 as well, but it says deck 1, and then it has all the deck 2 cards that are rare plus that are also in the second deck. So it gives you all this information so you know where you can find your issues. Maybe you're like, oh, I really wanted this deck. I don't want the second deck here. But you notice it also has problems with deck 1. So you wouldn't be able to use either of these. So we can just delete them out. And we're going to find some other fuses to use. I think I'll go with this one just because it's going to be hard to find 2 good Aloyan builds, and this one's not so bad for an Aloyan build. So I think I'll hold on to that one to start with. That's what I like to do for this, is start with a pre-made deck, and then I go and look to build. Like you can see here, I made a bunch of decks this month. I made 5 decks, and I used 3 of the 5, and one of them is 2 of the same. I was debating between a traditional RC build or a little bit of an off build for it, and I picked the off build for it. So, which is fine. It's okay. It won a match, so it's interesting anyway. So, do I have another deck I want to use? Let me look again. I've got Aloyan and Necrium. I don't really want to use Necrium again yet. I want to try to get a Necrium Utera build in there. I'm not going to be able to use Shambler, but I can probably use Shambling. Or I could go with Necrium Tempest with an RC build, potentially. Not positive on that. I think on that. I don't know if I have another good RSC deck. So something I was talking about, but I haven't shown yet. I have a modified form for the collection manager. I pull in my data, I create a new sheet, and then I add a bunch of fields to it for information that's useful to me. So I like using this format to search for cards. You could use the advanced search feature in the collection manager. I do not like it. I don't feel it's intuitive enough. I don't care for it. I dislike it, and I prefer this method. But all you have in there is the advanced search for everyone else. For me, I have to put in my own. I have to modify it and add my own stuff. So that's what I do. Basically, these will tell me how many, whether I have 0 or 1 hand twos for shambling, whether I have 1 or 2, if I had 3, etc. For me, I also have my son's account on here, and so I've got his decks listed. I have filtered that out. I also filter out all the expired decks so I don't get anything in there. If I update the deck ELOs from time to time, then I can see how much they've changed since I pulled in on the date here. But I have a video on my sheet and how I use it. But I like this to sort and find things. I'm just debating. Let me look up. Let's pull up my RC decks here. So I already used this one, and what was the previous one I used? It was the Army, the third one. I do have this one that I've apparently played, or somebody's played. Yeah, no. That must have been like a sealed event or something. Let me see here. No, it's a physical. I wonder if it was on my son's account at one point. This one was on my son's account for a long time. Yeah. Which I also don't like. He's got a better one now. I don't know that I like any of these ones that much. RC is notoriously one of the... It's a strong card, but it's also one of the most overrated scored cards in SolForgeFusionDecks.com. It's rated so highly because he doesn't differentiate between the decks enough in that regard. The Nova Elementalist is just... the card itself is really good. If you can flip it first turn, it's really good. But other than that, sometimes the rest of the deck sucks. So, I don't know if I'm going to build an RC for this. I just don't know if I have enough for it. So we'll reset that, and then I'll go back to my Fuse decks. If I'm not going to do that, then I would probably want, instead of Necrium Tempest, I'll go Necrium Utera. What do I want to do here? I could do this. This was recently talked about in the Discord about the Infinite Mantis combo, and it gives me a set 3 deck, which I'm going to need, which is one of the hard things for me. The problem with this deck is this is in cycle 4. So I would need to play this against another really slow type of deck. And the problem is going to be and I hate that it doesn't show the other version. I'm guessing it takes away the level portion there. The problem is I have to wait till cycle 4 for the skull. If I'm playing against, say, another life gain deck, they could have already outgained whatever I can do in 3 minutes. I mean, I can pull it off twice potentially, but even at the fastest processing, you can only get it off so many times, and then it's a thought. This deck's a thought. That's a thought there. Oh, this is an interesting one. This one is Darkforge Drain deck. Cycle 3. It's got a Mantis. It has Eric's the Stormweaver for extra spell play to get a bunch of spells for pumping Darkforge Drain up. It has a lot of spells. It's got Darkforge Loyalty and Tempest Loyalty. It's got really good spells. But you got to get Eric's out there, and then you got to play a spell as well to get the free spells. And then you also have to level the Mantis up, keep it on curve if you want to double up on Darkforge Drain. It's got the makings of a potentially good deck. I can't use this one because I already used Swarm of Tetrarane and Siege. Wonder... This one was... What did I do with this one? Why did I make this? Oh, this is the triple rally deck I have. And I can't use it with because it's got Stitcher. So this was... these three were with the triple rallying and some various Stitcher type decks to bring the rallying back constantly and whatnot. Okay. Oops, I don't want that to drag with me. Just click off maybe. I've got some other options. I can't use that one. I might have to build some decks. I do have... I guess I can do... I have these two decks here. That could be fun. So let me try these real quick. They're very similar. You have the same Utera half deck, which has a Tangle Sprout, Biologist, Vita Sprout. It's got the Essence Unleashed, which is like a Botanimate. And then it also has... They both have double Thundersoar. They both have Astraxian, but then they also have Blightmane Dragon, and this one also has Cataclysm Omni. So it's a double legendary deck. Might be the only one in existence. Unsure on that, but Vitalized Snowman. I don't remember which one performed better. I feel like this one performed better. I always liked this one because it was double legendary. I just thought it would work better, but I don't feel like it works as well as this one does. But I don't recall entirely. I could pick one of these. This would give me my set 4 requirements. This deck's really nice. The whole idea of the deck is Blightmane Dragon, level 3. It blasts 5 in each lane. And then I have Darkforge Reanimation if I'm below 30 health. I can reanimate a Darkforge creature, and I bring it back and do another blast for 5 in every lane. So I can do 10 in every lane. And normally I set it up where I can do this on the same turn. So I can just blow through whatever they have, either wipe their board off or do a lot of direct damage to their face. But if I'm not drawing Blightmane Dragon and being able to level it up, then I can go the route of the Biologist and Minion Pump and go wide with that and do some different things. I also have Astraxian with dinos. If I'm building dinosaurs out there, my Thundersaurs can benefit from that. Traveler would love that with his Vexor. Trying to think. This one, yeah, I gotta have that stuff, but I don't know. I don't know which one I would want. We'll just pick one. We'll pick this one because I think I said it would do better or did do better. And now we're gonna rerun the script. We'll close this one out. We're not going to use it. We'll see. We have one of each deck that way. You can see it says it's legal so far. This hasn't finished yet because it says I still need a set 4 deck, which we can see I have. So we can basically do anything now. What do I want to pair Aloyan with? The first deck has Apocamancer, so I can't do an Aloyan Apocamancer build. I don't know that I have any good suppressing decks. I know I was looking at some point. I do have a double suppressing deck, but I don't think I have. See, I don't have any Sonic Burst with it. If I had one, I've been looking for like a triple suppressing with Sonic Burst. That would be really nice, but I don't have any. I do have one. I have 4 with a single suppressing and a Sonic Burst. I don't know. That's what I want to go with. We did talk about this deck. That would give me my set 3 that I need. And it's not a horrible deck. It's just you gotta. I can't play like against aggressive decks, which people, everyone's got different collection sizes, so they're gonna have different varying of decks. They're gonna have 1 or 2 really strong decks that you would expect to face, and then from there, you'll see some different combinations of things that you're not used to playing against that will catch you off guard. I wonder what this one is. Pocketmancer. Nope. No can do. Yeah, these all have... These decks are all trash. Should get rid of them. Could do a legendary Dino deck. I wonder... Let me see what this red half is. Nope, that's the double legendary build. Nope, can't do that one. I already have the other thing in there. It should be done running. Okay. So I need one more of each half deck. I need at least a set 2 and a set 3 deck. So we might be building some stuff here. So we see my valid deck list has dwindled down to... I still got over half my collection. Roughly. Right? Maybe not. It's skipping numbers, isn't it? Maybe it's not. No? Okay. I guess it's not skipping numbers. $1,600 decks removed out of the pool. Okay. So I said this would be a while, and you know, there's a lot of processing and a lot of thinking going into it. I'm trying to not have to build new decks, but I just don't know if I have anything I like enough that works for me. Of course, my son's decks. He's got some good ones I wish I could have back. Okay, none of these Drix decks I don't think I can use. I might be able to use one of these ones. A Pocketmancer, no. I'm almost positive I did a Pocketmancer on all of them. Yep. Okay. We're gonna skip all the Drix decks. If we do this one, did we say we could do this one? I don't remember now. Yeah, that leaves me with an Aloyan build. Or do I want to go... I think I go that set 3 route, and then I need Aloyan Tempest, which is... Then we don't have to build one deck. So let's see if this one will work. And see what we can do. So it says it's legal. So all we need is Aloyan Tempest. And we're going to need a set 2 half deck. Oh, that's rough. So... Okay. We're going to filter by sets. Can't have suppressing, can't have sonic burst. Set 2 Aloyan is probably the worst. faction. Worst possible half deck you could choose from. I don't want to do a Rumble Spark deck. We looked at those, and there's nothing there. What I do need to do is filter out the factions, right? So filter that out, and then this deck has some elo. I wonder why. What does it have? It's got a Pokemancer, and it's got a Progressive Shambler Betrayer. Yeah, I remember this deck. So we could look at Progressive. This is a double Progressive deck with the Synteta's Laboratory. I've never been able to make use of this deck for the life of me. Let's see what other Progressive decks we've got. I got another 2 Progressive. Let's see what we got. Synteta's Laboratory, Energy Surge, Cypian Experimentation. If we can find a way. Progressive Specimen, Steel Eye Researcher, Vid. We got Mechanizing, so robots. Prophet, Medic. Not great, but I mean, there's some stuff here, right? It's not horrible. What are we going to pair it with? That's my set 2 deck. We need Tempest. What can we do with Tempest? What do we... I was thinking here. I don't have it, though. None of this stuff makes any sense. This wants replacement stuff. What Tempest wants replacement? I don't know of any. No betrayers of that. What if I go now? I need to go back and select all the sets. If I go back now and I get rid of if I keep that, what I'm thinking here may not even be good. Thunder Crash Fields. This one has Elos. I've played with it. Wow. So many spells. It almost might work. Which Forgeborn do I want to use? Destroy a creature. I like Blast Wave, but placing creatures could be nice. And I get the I'm gonna use Steel Rosetta. So let's make this crap deck. Let's see here. All right, so this is Loyan Tempest, and it is set 2 and 2. So I don't have to use set 2 Loyan, but it might just be best for what I'm thinking of doing here. Get the deck link and toss this in as our 4th deck and run the check. See if it's legal or not. It came back legal, so it should come back legal there. It did. And I don't know how much more it'll have to do. So there we go. So we got 4 legal decks. We've got, let me drag this one over. We built 1 deck, used 3 already created ones, and these are by no means my strongest builds. I could have made something, but they're all very interesting. This one has the infinite health combo within physical, would be great. But in the client, you only get 3 minutes, and you can do it twice. So it's not too bad. This deck, of course, the Blightmane Dragon, I really like it. I think this deck works really well, has lots of options. This deck here is a bunch of shenanigans. It can really pop off, but it also can fall flat on its face. And this deck, which I'm not zoomed in on, but there we go. This deck, I was just thinking with the progressive and all the minion generation and the Steel Eye, why not go with more minion generation, which this deck has plenty of. It's got free spell stuff, so there's lots of stuff to do here, and it's got a good balance of spells and creatures. So this deck could be interesting. This would be my 4th deck. I probably would not play this unless something in my opponent's deck list was like telling me that I should play this instead of something else. Depending on what people would ban. I have no idea what people would ban in this case. My guess would be either this one or maybe this one. Be my 2 guesses. I don't think they would ban this one, but maybe at the same time, Apocalypse, like I said, this thing can really go off. I'm not sure which one they would do. So probably not this one though. But this is how the process works for making your decks. You would then submit these 4 deck links onto the sheet that Lucas has for that month, and then yeah, you'd be good to go. When he runs it through his sheet, it should come back legal as well. And again, these are 4 decks that I have not used in these other 2 events. So maybe I'll use these, maybe I won't. If I play, we'll see. But I just wanted to give a video on the whole process, all the thought process, and hopefully it helps people see when they do get errors, what it means, and how to resolve it and whatnot. I didn't use this sheet fully because I like being able to filter for certain cards and all that. But undo all these filters here. So for most people, though, if you don't have a modified collection manager, you can easily use. This should have no decks in it. It's still got some decks. I guess it didn't update because we already had 4 decks in there. But you can use this just like you would the collection manager. It's got all the same information. You just have to add filters to it. And then if you're looking for a deck why it was not able to be used, you can see the reason why. So, and again, card list gives you all 4 decks worth and breaks everything down for you so you can see all that information. But hopefully this video helps you guys be able to prepare decks for January's league. We do have the scientist drop coming next week, and this sheet's already ready for it as far as I know. Well, not entirely. I do have to make some modifications, but it will be updated next week once the drop comes and I get the list of all the cards. So that'll probably, I'll update it Tuesday or Wednesday depending on when I have time, and it'll be then it'll be ready to go. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. Please feel free to leave a comment on your thoughts if there's anything I missed that I should have talked about, or if there's anything you liked about it. Would appreciate that. And feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And I definitely will look forward to seeing you guys in the next Convergence League if you have not participated yet. So thanks for your time and have a good day.